Good morning, Jeanie.
Good morning, Blake. Good morning, starling darlings. All the starlings that are stuck in their own backyards or just flying over their own house or sitting watching TV. We are all keeping safe, right? So good morning,
We
starling
are.
darlings. Yeah, it's great to be back, and it's great to be communicating with people and letting them know how much they're loved, even though we can't see each other in person. So how are you doing today, Blake?
I'm doing well. You can see that we're decorating our home for Easter, which really kind of helps.
Yeah.
I know liturgically we're entering in the week of Holy Week, but let me be honest with you, Jeanie.
Be honest.
Uh, we don't have to make up Holy Week this week. We don't have to create imagery for wilderness living. We're living it.
Kind
And
of,
there's
yeah.
so much wilderness right now.
Mhm.
It's kind of a joy to have a bunny and some eggs and some spring pillows around the
Mhm.
house.
You see what
It's
I
been
got?
helping me. Do what? What do you have? Daffodils. You're a daffodil.
Mhm.
Yeah, they're so beautiful. We got the gift of a lot of different bulbs earlier this year, and
Mhm.
I'm from Texas, and daffodils are here and there, but
Mhm.
they bloom way back in February, and they're dead in a
Right.
week because it's so warm.
Yeah.
So the whole process of planting bulbs and right now, all the way around the house are all these. We have about 3 varieties of daffodils.
Yeah, I got a
I
bunch
love it.
too.
I
I
really.
I only I only cut them when they've gone whoop, like when the rain has knocked them down. Otherwise, I like leave them to just spread.
Yeah, I
See
love
now,
it.
they're indigenous, I believe, in Britain, so they last for months and months. Just
Well,
I guess
that's
like the bluebells do in Texas.
not bluebells, baby.
Bluebonnets.
Blue
The
bonnets.
bonnets, yeah, because
Yes,
there's
we do have
bluebells.
bluebells. We do have bluebells,
Yeah.
but
So
don't
so
mess with our blue
no,
bonnets.
no. So their kind of wild season is like they'll have just carpets of
Oh
snowdrops,
my gosh.
and then
This is
carpets of daffodils, and then carpets of the bluebells.
so we have carpets of bluebonnets.
Yeah.
Bluebonnets fade away, and then what we call the Indian paintbrush, they're the
Paintbrush, yes.
red, and they look like red
Oh,
bluebonnets, sort
you
of.
know how I
And then
know
it,
about you know how I know
what,
about that? There's a children's
what?
book about that
Yeah,
by
yeah, yeah,
Tommy
the
DePola,
paintbrush.
and he just passed away, I think yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I saw him read one time, like at a bookstore, and he signed my son's book when he was
Oh,
little.
nice.
And he just wrote a lot of really cool books. So anyway,
So,
listen
so
to that,
in
man.
in Texas, it goes blue, then it goes red,
Wow.
all the red flower, and then the yellow starts coming with the red, and it turns yellow. So all the yellowy flowers bloom, and then it pushes into white flowers, and the white flowers kind of stretch over into the summer, and then they all die.
Because it's too
And
hot.
and because of Lady Bird Johnson, all the flowers along the sides of the highway, they allow the flowers to take seed.
Wow, that's
So
cool.
there's a season of deadness,
Right,
and then they mow,
right.
and then it starts all over again in spring. It's a
And they're
beautiful
wild,
time.
so it's not like someone has to plant them. They
Well, they did plant them alongside the highways.
right, but they don't have to
They
replant them.
do grow wild, yeah.
They don't have to replant them now, right?
No, 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 no. Once you
Yeah, because
plant them,
once
they
they're mowed,
keep
yeah, they're
going.
wild.
They keep going. Yeah. So it's a
Wild.
wonderful time. Anyway,
And
but we're
yeah,
not at we're
wild
not at what?
wilderness, wild wilderness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, in a wilderness, if we were out uh, in Texas in the middle of a field, and we were again calling it wilderness, there's beauty in the wilderness.
Totally.
Beauty happens in the wilderness. And I'm really working on remembering that from day to day. where is the beauty in this particular wilderness? I have a hard time.
Well,
It goes every other hour. I go, ah, and then I go, oh.
I mean, there's fear.
I'm worn out.
There's a certain amount of healthy fear in the wilderness. I mean, the reason why we have fear is to keep us safe. And when there aren't things that are actually bad for us, we concoct things to be afraid of.
Yeah.
Like we do that. Like living in a culture where we don't have a lot of enemies, we don't have a lot of things wrong. We need more therapists because we hyperanalyze things. And what's interesting now is I'm watching people move from, well, I'm not so worried about that anymore because now there actually is something that I need to be scared about. And it's like we're not in the wilderness in some ways because we're not allowed to be out making choices and fighting things on our own. We're told you have to be in. So it is a sort of strange inward wilderness, you know? And that typical sort of sad minister segue makes me think, you know, Jesus is a lot like popcorn. No, just kidding. but I was looking, so I worked a bit on my garden last night when I was kind of spiraling in my mind. I went out and I knew it was going to rain. So I worked a lot in the little front garden, which is like a cottage garden, getting that sort of organized. And gardening does have a way of doing that. Any kind of craft where you're in control of where it goes helps you confront the wilderness and make it less wild. So I was looking at
that's the operative word, where you want it to go, how you.
Yeah.
I want it. That's why I love to mow, because it doesn't take a committee. I mow the grass. It does what I want it to do. And I turn the mower off and go, all right. And it looks beautiful.
I know. Look at that thing I did, right?
Yeah,
so I was looking at I have a windowsill in a bay window that is sort of the kids, that it's their like cactuses and things that they've decided to grow, and it's sort of the sunniest spot of the house. And my one son has gotten into doing, and I'm going to turn. He has this.
Oh wow!
Heavy,
what is that?
It's a bonsai tree that he started from seed. So I don't know what kind of seed. It almost looks like a mimosa tree, but
it does look like a mimosa tree. I was fixing to say that.
So this is probably 3 years old. And we know that like some bonsai are 100 years old. Well, I kept saying to him, I want to watch you clip I want to watch you clip the branches and stuff. And he said, oh, well, that's not how you do bonsai. You leave the branches, but you take it out of the soil and you cut its roots.
Really?
And you replant it. And that's what, and you can see here that maybe you can't. Oh, tip it
We can see. Yeah.
That the trunk is beginning to get thicker than it should be for a tree that height. So someday that trunk will be, you know, when he's a big hairier man, that will be a thick trunk and it won't ever be taller than this. And the dish won't be a bigger dish because you cut the root. I never knew that. I never knew that. I think
you're working from the bottom. You're working from the roots up.
Yeah.
And we're always looking the other direction.
And this is somewhat a healthy trim of our roots. It's making us think, what actually does matter here? I'm now stuck with this family who I have conveniently not needed to see very much. And they're on their machines and I'm on my machine, or they're out doing their thing, I'm out doing my thing. And what's interesting is that they are getting sick of being on machines now, when that's the only option.
Oh, I know.
I had my son say, hey, where's the Risk board game?
What?
Yeah. So I was just like,
wow.
It's a bummer it was Risk, because I don't really like Risk that much. I always lose Risk. I just, you know, I hear that you have to get, I don't know, what is it, Asia? If you get Asia, you win.
I don't know. I'm not good at it.
I've never been good at Risk. I'd rather be playing something else, but that's not the point. The point is that the board games are starting to come out. I've also had a couple of, hey, you want to watch something with me, which I haven't had in a while. You know, like, oh, I saw this great YouTube thing. How about you come and see it too? Because now there's this desire again to talk face to face, because we don't, you know, and I think that that is going to make us realize, hey, we need to appreciate what we have and who we have. So anyway,
I work on that. Like I said, I go in and out, up and down. This hour I feel great and productive. The next hour I don't. It's so weird how just this simple thing of you got to stay home, and it's a weird dynamic. I watch the most fun. There's so many people doing parodies of songs right
I know
now.
it's really good.
Some of them are horrible.
Yeah,
Some of them can't sing. I found one that the man can actually sing, and you go, wow, that's good. And he did the Adele song "Hello" from the other side, but he's like
wow.
he's like stuck up in the front window of his house going, "Hello from the inside." And the words are perfect, you know, having work meetings where you don't really dress all the way, and
right.
cocktails as they do their work.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious, and it made me laugh. But then again, like you're saying, I can only look at so many of those things. I am so tired of scrolling down my phone. If the weather was better, it's been kind of cloudy and chilly and windy, and I want to go outside and dig and mow and weed, but we'll get there.
Yeah. I am, as you know, I am very, very, very blessed to live where I live, because I'm in the woods on a street where there's not very much traffic ever, and I do get out for a couple of hours a day to walk in the woods or walk around. And what's interesting is the guilt when you do see a neighbor like walking with their kids. You go on the opposite side of the street, and then you catch up and you talk, and you're like, should we even be doing this? Like, it's really weird. Like, yeah, it's funny. It's yeah. But I do, my heart goes out to friends of mine in Manhattan, in Chicago, in Atlanta, and in London, who are literally stuck in their apartment buildings. They don't want people to even come down on their way outside to walk along the river or walk along the lake, or they don't even want that. And so they're used to going to the club, they're used to going out for walks, and their exercise is like yoga inside their living room, and it's driving them nuts. I think for city people too, people are used to going to bars and pubs and diners.
Walking. It's just claustrophobic. There's just kind of a claustrophobic feel to it. And
I know. Well,
so our segue didn't quite go to the theological part of the segue. And here we sit, and for the first time in our lives, have to figure out, how do we do Palm Sunday in church? We have our delivery of palms coming. We didn't stop it. And you know what? And we pass out palm branches. My husband is Roman Catholic, and they use the strips, the palm strips.
That's what I use
those
too.
little. Oh, we don't. We use the leafy green
How
ones.
do you fold them into a cross?
You don't, and he says that too, but we didn't do that. But I'm telling you, when you're a kid, no, don't go there with me, because when you're a kid, you the best thing to do is to walk down the middle aisle with your green leafy branch, not a strip. And
we used the strips.
Well, we never did. Wait. Because here's last year's strip.
Yeah.
From the Catholic Church. My husband went, and you know, that doesn't do much for me. Anyway, I want to tell a story about that. I think I've done this with you. My mother was in charge of Palm Sunday one year when I was a kid. I told you this, I think. And we didn't order green leafy palm branches from echo palms, like many of us are doing today. That's where our palms come, echo palms. And
right.
they end up helping people sustain a life they're living by buying these palms. We didn't know about that. And so my mother, we lived down by a river, and she went along the riverbeds and cut the big palmetto
awesome!
branches.
Oh my gosh, you did not tell me this, and that is super awesome.
I know. And so the stem of the palmetto has, like, sticky needles.
So you had to wear gloves.
She cut all those off for the kids. But we had these huge, oh my gosh, they were awesome.
And that is very economical. That is very economical. I love that. I hope they never stop doing that. Are you still using those big ones there?
No, but we lined up at the back of the sanctuary. We all had these huge palmetto branches. And here we are, a kid. We're usually told in the late 60s and early, we were told, don't make a sound in church or you're going to be in trouble. But on Sunday, they gave us these big green leaves and told us to be joyful and come down the middle of the aisle. Well, guess what? We hit Miss Smith on the head with our big, we were going, yeah.
Well, that's what we did with the skinny whippy ones. We used them as whips. And we whipped each other down the aisle. It was
Which leads you into the way of Holy Week.
Yeah.
It does.
So honestly, since I've been ordained, I have never done just a Palm Sunday. I've done the Palms and the Passion because so we started with the kids coming down with the palms, and we would also at the same time lay cloths in front.
Yeah.
And then it would go dark, not literally dark, like we didn't turn the lights out, but then the music would change and it would go to what happened in the rest of the week. Just because I've never been in a congregation that was the type that would come to midweek services. We would still have
I hear you.
But there'd maybe be 6 people that came. So
I hear you. And that's how I've done it for many years. Mm-hmm. I just went to a conference, a national conference. It's a church conference. It's ecumenical, mainly Presbyterian, called Next Church. And part of that conference, the Reverend Brian K. Blunt, he is the president of Union Presbyterian Seminary in Richmond, Virginia.
Brian.
Yeah.
Okay.
Brian, look, you need to go. You need to go. Oh, you're over here in this corner. You need to go online and listen to the sermon. You're this way.
I know. I'm scratching your ear.
No, you're not.
It's the opposite of what we think it is.
But
So okay. I see you here.
Well, there you are. There's my ear. There's my ear.
I know, but I think.
No, it's how you and I see it.
It's not. How about this? I'm just going to hedge my bet.
Okay, wait a minute.
Because I did that the last time I did a recorded one, and I said, now you. And that person was supposed to speak. It was
I know, because everything is backwards.
Whatever.
Anyway, the Dr. Brian K. Blunt preached on the conference was about addressing racism in the larger church and the historical journey of the church. But his sermon began with the Palm Sunday passage. And I think why we have married Palm Sunday into Holy Week is because we've approached Palm Sunday in the wrong manner. And he was talking about how we almost make, this is my interpretation of his words, we make Palm Sunday a pre-Easter event. We make Palm Sunday a parade and a brunch. And we just allow the joyful, the sweet children, the Hosanna singing, because we've defined the way Jesus is coming into the city, and
Mhm.
we've made it only a simple parade.
Yeah.
And he began to go, no, no, no.
Mhm.
It's not about Jesus getting on this colt or donkey or ass and coming into the city with
You
his
said
hair, with
ass.
his, I know. And
That's
here's,
funny for me. You know that will
here's
be
something
perpetually
pure.
funny
But
for me.
we've made Jesus, his hair's blowing in the wind
Yeah.
and his eyes are sparkling and everyone's dressed in festive clothes and we're
Mhm. Yeah.
all going, Hosanna, Hosanna. No, he goes, no, no, no. This is not what that is. He is coming in and it is a revolution. It's a
Mhm.
righteous revolution. He is coming into the city to have a showdown
Mhm.
with the political people, and it's going to get ugly.
Yeah.
And when
You-
you start Palm Sunday that way, you already have the passion story infused into it. But we've so sterilized Palm Sunday
Yeah.
that we
I
really
am
need to sit with that.
I'm sure I've told you, like, my first major theological crisis was in a Holy Week, uh, when I was just coming up for 4 years old. It happened to be when Martin Luther King Jr. was killed. So it all kind of jumbles together. But one of the things that's interesting is, for me, and it's maybe not for everybody else, but maybe because I am such a, I mean, I don't mean to be a screw up, but I do sort of screw things up a lot, is that that betrayal of the sort of, everyone kind of thought the sun was shining out of Jesus's backside, and then he's betrayed later in the week. Um, and that, I think, has always been massive for me, because of how I let people down without meaning to, but also what happened to Martin Luther King Jr., because my early childhood was about, listen, we've got to fix some stuff. This has got to be fixed. And I lived in a house where not everyone agreed with how that should be fixed. So that, I think, is also why I remember it, because I had some people in my life who did see Martin Luther King as doing too much too fast. He was a troublemaker. He was stirring things up. And then I had other people in my family, grown-ups, that were like, this unfortunately has to happen, and this is what we need to do, and we should all be marching. And they weren't people that fought with each other. They had very healthy discussions, but we weren't shielded from that. So I was in the middle of that, and then dude gets shot and killed, and he had kids the same age as me. So I'm like, oh, is someone in my house gonna, because that's what kids do, is someone in my house gonna get shot and killed? So so that the whole week has been a bit of a mess, and for my whole life, my earliest memories are, this is a dangerous, scary week. And the Palm Sunday was a fake celebration for me. It was always just like, I know what's coming, I know what's coming, I know what's coming.
Exactly.
And Good Friday, I mean, it wasn't until I was a grown-up before I could even say Good Friday, because as a little kid, I was just like, how is this good? And they'd say, well, because Jesus rises and just saves us all from our sins. And I'm like,
I know.
Still not that good.
We polish and we polish and we polish, and we don't want to,
And for
it's this
anyone who's
tension.
known me as a minister, don't even talk to me about having that Easter egg hunt on a Saturday. I know you're going to do it, and I know the kids are going to be dressed up, and you're going to be taking their picture, and the flowers are going to be beautiful, and it's going to be all cute and stuff. But this isn't what we should be doing on Saturday. Why can't we do that on Sunday? Oh, because they're going to brunch. Of course, this year they're not. Actually, you know what would be really cool? It'd be really cool to go around to parishioners' houses and hide eggs on their front lawn in the middle of the night.
Let me tell you something.
And then their kids could find them in the morning by themselves.
Let me tell you something.
What?
There was a difficult time in my life a number, um, and a difficult time in serving in a particular church at a particular time, and I won't go into all of that. However, in that period of time, uh, where my family, I was once married to Laurie. We were both ordained ministers in the same church. Every Easter, we woke up in this city. Someone had come and put the little plastic eggs all over our front yard.
Oh my
And
gosh.
Jeanie, we opened the door. Here we are, ministers. We've done all the passion, just like you
You're
explained.
exhausted. Yeah.
Holy Week is very powerful to me, and I try really hard not to polish it and
Mm-hmm.
make it warm fuzzy, because it's not.
Mm-hmm.
And but to open the door every year and see these eggs all over the front yard, we never figured out who did it. We were never told who did
It
it.
was
I
the
still
Easter
don't know to
Bunny.
this
Duh.
day who did it, but someone did it for us.
Yeah, it's
And
pretty
it
cool.
was done during a very difficult part of our journey in life. And I don't know, it made Easter even more
Dude, I
special.
super want to do this. Like, I super want to do this to families that I know with kids. I don't, yeah, I think I
The other
might. I
the
think I
other
might just
story
stay
I
up all
remember.
night, just like Easter egging, like not a lot, just even 5 or 6 plastic eggs with different stuff, like a lottery ticket, some candy, a couple of dollars, and like a McDonald's gift card or something. Like, how awesome would that be, right? Oh my gosh.
My other memory is of a dear man who is no longer alive, but in another church. And we were preparing for Monday, Thursday, singing songs, in the choir, and it's presenting the death part of the Holy Week
It's my favorite
story.
service of the whole
And
year.
he
The
goes,
Tenebrae when the lights go out.
I know, but he goes, can't we just sing happy songs? And it always takes me back, to the Monty Python, where they put Jesus on the cross whistling. Have you seen? You know what I'm talking about? It's it's so ridiculous, but it's so profound in the
Yeah.
same way.
Yeah.
Monty Python presents what he does in that song. He's on, duh, Jesus is hanging on the cross. Look on the bright side of life.
Diddy, 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 diddy.
But what Monty Python does is a commentary on what we do.
Mhm.
We so polish and
Right.
make this whole thing
Well,
comfortable.
we do that pre-Christmas too, when Advent is meant to be a time of fasting and considering what is life like without an incarnate God. And then suddenly we're supposed to have Christmas where, okay, now we recognize and we festival. And now we're sometimes a little bit tired of the feast by the time Christmas comes, because we've been feasting from Thanksgiving to then.
Yeah.
And certainly at New Year, I'm like, yeah, let's get all those decorations down. I'm having a salad. Like, by the time that comes, I'm kind of done. But anyway, this is super long, and probably people only watch this for 30 seconds. So I'm going to say, if you are one of those people who watched Blake and I do a murmuration from beginning to end, I'm super buying you a soda. So honestly, you need to comment in the comments below, or you need to go to the Sensing God Space Facebook, which I'll also post this on that. And you need to say, yo, Jeanie, I listened to the whole thing, as boring as you were, and I will see that I buy you like an ice cream sundae or a really nice big soda. Because we know how it goes. People are like, oh, Jeanie and Blake, I love them. Click it on for a couple seconds. Also,
20 seconds.
make sure a good thing for you all to do is, listen to me talking like Texas, y'all, is to click on us and then go make your cup of tea or coffee and then come back, because then the advertisements will run through, and that will help us fund our ministry. So do that first. And then even if you're not going to watch it, keep it running and then go leave if we're boring, so that we get more hits.
Yeah, so just turn us on. You don't have to watch it.
Listen. You have to listen. We're boring. But if you did stay,
Go vacuum.
My idea is to keep it to 5 minutes, and we're probably at like 25, but whatever. Blake, I miss you in person, but I am just so blessed to have you as my friend, and I want you to be safe. So I think this is good that you're going to be safe.
Peace be with you.
All right, peace be with you. I will talk to you. Okay, I've got another meeting.
I know. Bye.